You are listening to Danny on What the Heck podcast. This is the place where I share my experience, knowledge and skills. Good afternoon, good evening or good morning. I'm Danny de Hek, as my introduction said, and I just wanted to do I hate the word just when you use just. It's not just. I want to give you a podcast about change and the things that you kind of need to do in your business at the moment to be a strong player. So I'm recording this on my YouTube channel so you can actually see me and I can talk to you, which is really cool. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that I've been working on lately that really have had a lot of change. As many of you may know, I actually have a business networking company called Elite 6. And I've been doing Elite 6 for about 8 years, and I bought it as a franchise. And I dissolved the franchise, and now I run all the meetings myself. And I'm like the connector guy that gets everyone together. And that's why I call myself a connector. So if you ever need to know anyone and you're looking for someone who does this, I'm that guy that you can ring, and I will point you in the right direction. So the unique point of difference with Elite 6 is that we are not a referral network. We have got our business networking in there, but we are a hub of like-minded business people that get together and really help each other in business. So a lot of people go to me, I never get any business as such, when no one really buys my product or service when I come along to Elite 6. However, the information that they learn from Elite 6 and we offer people in their marketing is really our strength. And it's like having a business community around you that really cares about your business. So that's what I do. So over lockdown with COVID-19, we were running up to 15 Zoom meetings a week. And then we went down to about 8. And then this morning we run about 5 Zoom meetings. And we also run 1 face-to-face meeting. But a lot of the correspondence that goes on with my members is throughout the week via emails and also lots of catch-up phone calls to see how people are going. So it's a really nice organisation. I'm really proud to say that it's mine, and also I run it myself. And I've got some great people around me, which is awesome. So anyway, this morning I ran a Zoom meeting, and we normally have anything from 8 or 9 people. And this morning, no one, or one person, loyal David Clarkson, he turned up, but that was it. And I thought the timing really, when things happen like that, I thought to myself, it's a sign telling me things are need a change. So I thought to myself, I don't want to run next week's meeting. So I've pulled the plug on the next week's meeting. And what is working really well for us at the moment with Elite 6 is our think tank meetings. So I'm going to do that meeting only. And also the face-to-face meeting, I'm going to do that. And that is where we're going to grow a good group and a healthy group. And I'm not going to compromise this time. I'm really going to just make sure I have the right people. And if I can't get the right people in my business family, then I don't want to grow it. And I want to maintain the people I have. And that's the goal, and I think that's, I wish I did that from day one. Things you learn along the way. Anyway, I've been using a bit of technology lately, which is really exciting. I've obviously been playing around doing a little bit of podcasting, figuring out how to do podcasting. And if you're thinking about doing a podcast, by all means, go along to my website, look at my services, and look under podcast hosting. So what I originally did is I thought I want to become a podcaster, and just before lockdown I decided to set up a sort of a recording studio where I could record our think tank meetings, which is basically a room full of 20 people talking about a topic. And I was really struggling to get the good gear to record it. So I went out and bought some really cool Audio Technica BP40 stereo microphones, and they're brilliant. They really help record my voice and also good for recording a room. I also bought myself a Blue Yeti Pro not the pros, and it's a mic that you can put in the centre of the room and theoretically record, but it never really recorded the sound the way I wanted. So I tried doing that for about 2 or 3 weeks. No, I didn't. I tried to do that for 2 or 3 months. And I'd take all my recording gear along, and it just didn't really work as well as I liked. But when lockdown came along, we started having Zoom meetings, and everyone has their own microphone then, don't they? And that enabled me to record some really good think tank meetings. So if you go to my podcast on my Elite 6, you'll see that we've actually got just about 50 meetings recorded. And then when you go to dehek.com, you'll see that I've also got my own podcast, and you can come in here. So last week I recorded a meeting, Embracing Change. And this week's meeting, I really want to talk about using the technology to the fullest. So if you come along to my podcast, you'll see that I'm encouraging people to actually listen to my podcast on many different platforms. So I've always wondered how to get your podcast into Apple Podcasts, and also just recently I've got myself in Pandora. So it's really cool. So what I did is I come along to my website if you want to know how to do it, and you click on podcasting, and I provide a link to Sprout, and they provide a lot of the services that I was struggling to find out how to do. So if you are kind enough and you went to danny.co.nz, click on podcast hosting and follow the link calling Buzzsprout, you will get the back end of my podcast. And if you do that, then if you do sign up and you do pay, I get a little bit of money from it, which is nice. And that's what I'm doing a lot with at the moment, is I'm looking for services that I'm using and trying to teach people how to use them and do a lot more workshops. So I just wanted to show you quickly on the back end of a podcast. So I help set up a podcast for Genius Co-working, and it's free. And they've got 2 episodes, and that means that with no cost, they can set up a podcast, have a play to see if it's for them. And then after 2 or 3 months, those podcasts will drop off. But with What the Heck podcast, for $12 a month, it means I can actually record up to 2 hours of voice, and it's only going to cost me $12 US a month. And then if I go over that time, it's costing me $4 per hour after. So it's affordable, and that means that my podcasts don't drop off. And as you can see now, I've got quite a few different podcasts on my personal podcast, and I'm going to go crazy on that at the moment. I'll explain why in a few minutes. So I've got to stop saying the word so, you can obviously choose the look. You can create a logo. If you click on website, you can choose how you can have your own CNAME, so you have your own branding. And the real amazing part of Buzzsprout is they will submit your podcasts to all these different directories. So once you go into maybe Pandora, which is a really cool one, they give you an RSS feed, which means it will let other people pull your content onto their platform. And then you can go into Pandora as such. And so if I went to Pandora, you can actually see my podcast. With luck. Well, within their platform, you will see my podcast being promoted. So since I've been in Pandora, I've actually had 6 or 7 listeners each episode from that platform. So it's pretty clever stuff. I'm really impressed with it. All right, so now if you went to the Heck, well, let's use Elite 6 as an example. So what I've been doing, I've been recording our think tank sessions using Zoom, and I'll have anything from 10 to 15 people in the room at the same time. Then what I do is I use a mind map, and I create a visual as people are talking so they can see where we're at. Now, if you don't know what a mind map is, I use a program called MindNode. And it allows me on the fly to create this document that you see. So the theme for last week's meeting was becoming an authority in your field. And when we run our think tank meetings, I ask people for their experiences, problems they've had by claiming they're an authority, some solutions, and then hopefully at the end of the meeting they have some takeaways, and I ask them to share what they got from coming along to our meeting. And then we discuss briefly what is next week's topic. So once I've got that content, we also scribe it in the as the meeting goes on, and I turn that mind node into a kind of a blog. And now I've got content that I can publish on my website as a blog. And then when I go along to our Facebook page, I market the blog that I have, I share it onto our Facebook page. So in here, you will see, in a second with a bit of luck, got to have luck in business, that you can see that I've shared the blog that I've created on the website onto our Facebook page, and then I've also shared the link to the podcast. So I've got 2 posts. And if you go down here a little bit more, you can see that I've also taken some photos of other discussions that we have, and I've also done some videos. So it's about creating content and then sharing it around your social media. So let's say if I went to Twitter, you will see that in our Twitter account that we've also promoted meetings, our podcasts. And you can go in there and listen to it, and you can also see I've shared. So what I'm always doing is I'm looking for ways of creating content. If you know me, I'm dyslexic, and I struggle with getting words onto the screen and also expressing myself in the way I want to be heard. So the other day, I wanted to be able to get my podcasts, and then I wanted to be able to share that, and I wanted it scribed. So I found this service, and I'm not saying it right, I think it's called otter.ai, artificial intelligence maybe. So if you go to the homepage, you can see that the last blog I did, I uploaded it as a sound file, and then this service will turn my blog into, they'll scribe it for me and turn it into text. So you're clever enough, you can, I don't know if you'll hear this, but basically
you're listening to Danny on What the Heck podcast. This is the place where I share my experience, knowledge and skills.
Now, don't you think that's pretty wicked? So my whole podcast that I've done has been scribed. And it goes, and so that's a free service. Now, what I've done is I've paid the $9.90 a month, and that will allow me to, I think I get like 600 minutes worth of content typed up for me. And basically I use Word, dictation software. This actually scribes it better. And there is a place here I noticed where it talked about something, like when I mentioned Tommy Hilfiger, Richard Branson, just to name a few, normally it doesn't get it that accurate. So I'm really impressed with that service. So there's my blog.
And they come back to me and they said, hey Danny, so you have a reading age of a 9.3-year-old.
So now I can't stop this. There we go. So now I have a blog written on the fly as I'm doing my podcast, and I'm going to do it for this podcast as well. So if you want to see how it works, you'll see that I've published this content on my YouTube channel. I'll also publish it on my Facebook page for the Heck. So if you're looking for ways to market yourself, let's say you go to Facebook, and a lot of people don't realize this, but when you log into Facebook, you use your personal account, and then you can create pages. So I used to have about 50 pages. I've only got probably about 10 active ones now that I use. So I've created a page called Danny de Hek, and my company is actually called Danny de Hek Limited. And within here, I can post content. So let's say here's my think tank meeting I did last Friday. Then I can switch from my page name, which is Danny de Hek, to my personal name. Why does that always happen when you're so I can go to here, and that will enable me to be able to share the content from my page to my personal Facebook page if I desire. and I can write a post and I can share that on a group and do all sorts of things with it. But just by switching from a personality, from a page to a person, I can do different things, or I can share it on different pages. So as you go down and you look at my page, you'll see that I've got videos that I'm doing. If you go over to, let's have a look here, Danny. Let's go to, I'm trying to find the page I'm looking for. So I think view as a visitor. So here I go, I've got my videos. Now as I've been travelling around India, Bangladesh and China, I have basically been uploading videos of my travels. So if I go to visit the studio, it will show me videos that I've uploaded but I haven't published yet. So what I've been really working on over the last few months, especially with lockdown, is being able to use the content I have on my hard drive and actually getting that content out there. So I'm just having a wee look here and just looking at all published scheduled drafts. So that's the ones I want to look at. So these are videos which I've uploaded but I haven't published onto my page. They're all in draft mode. And then, so that's kind of what I'm sort of saying is, if you want to get good at social media and you want to start getting your name out there, I really believe in Gary Vaynerchuk, because he's all about building your personal brand. And then there's another guy that I've just started listening to his audiobooks, and If You're Not First, You Are Last by Grant Cardone. And he talks about going for it and basically dominating your market space. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create my own brand, and I want to dominate the things I do. So I had a guy that come around today, and he has a gin business, and he wants me to help market his business by doing a website. But I actually want to help him dominate the market for gin. And I don't want to, I really want to push him forward as much as I can. And I want to educate him the importance of content. And my struggle is actually, as I said, getting those words on the screen so I can do stuff with them. In a wee while, if I search for that paragraph on the internet, my content will come up in the search results. Now, I haven't published this content at all, so it won't now. But for example, that phrase brings up that person's story. So if you've got that content on the internet, then you will come up in the search results free of charge. And that is where you'll get a lot of your strength. Now, when somebody comes along to your website and they check out your other social media, you become an authority in your marketing, which is probably a bit high tech. But anyway, so let's say you go to my Tumblr account. I have a whole array of my videos displayed onto that platform. And then I'm thinking it's pretty cool, and nothing comes up. It's always pretty exciting, isn't it, when nothing comes up? Boom! There you go. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'd recommend that you go to my YouTube channel and check out the video so you can watch what I'm showing people at the moment. But you can see I've got from a peasant's point of view, a lot of people would scroll through this here and think this guy lives on this platform. And the honest truth is, every time I create something, I just share it onto this platform. I don't live on it. And the same with my YouTube channel. I've got lots of content, and now I'm grooming it and I'm distributing it. And you'll see that in a minute, I think. So my main video that I want people to listen to is the one in the centre here where I talk about my dyslexia, and I won't make that play. And now you can see I've created a channel called Podcast, and I'm going to be uploading my videos that I'm doing at the moment in this area. And then when I'm on the road and I'm uploading videos, I want to have a place where people can upload everything. I've got videos I tag with my own name in it. I've got testimonials about my business, and then I've got my travels in Bangladesh and so forth, New Zealand stuff and popular uploads. So it's just about creating that presence, and I'm really going to focus on that at the moment because I really want to help people get a better presence on the internet. So other things I thought were really cool, we stumbled across a little program called Millernote the other day. And Millernote is real cool. I'll see if I can log in on a web browser. There is a desktop app that you can use. Now, don't you guys look at my password. Oh, ... Tricky. Now, Millernote, I'm not using it as much as my partner is. Now, Millernote come to me and they asked me to do a... actually, I'm going to show you what happened here. So I'm quite a big fan of Trello. And I don't know if you've ever used Trello before. But Trello is pretty cool and it does serve a purpose. But I republished a blog I wrote about Trello. I republished it, I reset the dates back to 0, and I've done a talk about the benefits of using Trello in your business. And basically Trello is like a big whiteboard and you can share the content and collaborate with other people. And it's pretty cool. I like it. So Millernote saw this blog, and because I've done a blog on Millernote, they wanted me to do they gave me an account where I could have a play with Millernote. Now Millernote is pretty cool. So what I've done is I've set up a whiteboard under my own name and I've shared it with my partner, Helen, and we both can collaborate on this document at the same time. Now when she's moving bits around it like I am at the moment, I can see her mouse. So what I've done is all the websites that I look after personally, I have basically put to-do lists, things that need to be done under this area. Now these are actually Helen's websites, and I've asked her to make sure she does a few tasks, so I can literally add tasks like this, and as they're done I tick them off and I know they've got done, which is pretty exciting. But anyway, I'll get rid of that one. So I thought there must be more uses for this. So we're setting up a Shopify workshop at the moment. So I've set up the workshop and I've got 4 parts of the workshop and I'm going to work through them one at a time. But each time I add a different part to it, I'm just going to get my mouse. Oops, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Oh, so here's so I've added a wee box, so I can come along here and add notes. And then you might think, well, actually, you want to add a to-do list. So then you put that in here. You've got a due date, which is really important. So you might say, I've got to have this finished on that date there at 9 a.m. And then boom. So now I've got a due date. And you can basically add images. So you add an image. And eventually you can build a whole, collaborative board where you can do stuff. Well, the other alternative is you can come along here and you can create a new board. And then, so new board, I'll just call it new board because let's say I'm doing a website for the gin guy. So I'll put gin. And with a bit of luck. Now, I don't know why this doesn't work for me. But when you click on gin, there we go. It's an empty board. So if you want to create a project, I'll get rid of their stuff. So let's say I'll do some brainstorming. And now it gives me a nice sort of mind map where I can go more templates. I'm doing a game design. So then it gives me a template, of what I'm doing, character profile. But they've got literally hundreds of different templates that you can use and layouts. So then once you've got that set, we're going to use that template. Then you can go, right, the landmark, and you can double click into that area, and then you can create other things like a to-do list. You can assign it to Danny. What else can you do here? You want to add notes. As I said, you can add pictures, upload files. Then you can go back to the gin, and you know that you've got notes under each of those thingies. I don't know if you're getting what I'm doing here, but this Millernote thing is pretty damn cool. So I'm really glad. So that's another part of technology that we're certainly using. I'm going to do a little wee bit of a workshop on how to use that. Helen, my partner, is better at using it. She just jumps on board with it. She's a photographer. But no, pretty powerful thing. But my point of that is because I spent the time and I went to Trello and I put a blog online about the benefits of using Trello, it actually attracted other people who wanted me to do the same for themselves. So if you're looking at becoming a bit of an influencer or somebody who does a bit of reviews on other people's software, then start doing reviews on software, and then that will attract other companies who look at your social media presence and think, actually, I want to ask this guy if they'd do a review on my product. And slowly is how it all starts. And I'm just going to log into Trello, and what is it asking me to do? I think they must have changed their name. Sign up for a new account. That's not going to help. Just give you a bit of a comparison. And when I think I had 12 facilitators running Elite 6 with me, and I got them all to create their own Trello account, and then each week I wanted them to update their little bit, their notes about their meeting and the happening, and I just couldn't get them on board using it, so I sort of gave up really. So it was just a waste of time. But I still love Trello because it had proven to be a great place for me to sort of do my job. So you can see I've got a couple of jobs that I was working on at the time. This has not been updated. So here's my facilitators that were running the meetings, and for example I could come along here and click on Rainura, and even though I know the background's shocking, but we could go through all the members that we currently had in the group. If I decided that I wanted to have a picture framer, then I would invite a picture framer to the meeting, and then when that picture framer decided that he would come along, I would then move him over to being a visitor. And then once he joins or becomes a member, then I'd move him into the members area. And then when he decides he needs to leave, I'd put him back into the wish list. And then we would basically use this place to update. So everything that Trello does, I believe Milanote does it a little bit better, and it's not so clunky. However, if you're working on a project together, I would recommend either using Trello or going and having a wee play on Milanote. And I'm just really impressed with that. So that's a little bit of insight there. So what else would I like to share with you guys? I probably would actually like to share a book that I found absolutely incredible. If I can get it, and there it is there. Now I listen to audiobooks, they do certainly inspire me. And we were travelling over to the coast on the weekend. So we went and I looked for books, and I've never heard of Grant Cardone, but yeah, I listened to this book here, and it was absolutely awesome. So I've just recently purchased the other book, and it says, if you're not first, you're last, and it's really, really good stuff. So if you're looking for a book to inspire you now, what his theory is basically telling you to dominate your market and own it. And he said that the people that are first, often the people that are second, are miles behind. So the only way if you're really serious about getting ahead in business, then by all means, get this book, listen to it, and start dominating your market. I think it's great. I also like Gary Vaynerchuk because I am all about building my personal brand. And people think I'm a bit nuts with my personal brand. However, it is actually working for me. And it is actually, it's not that I love myself, but I've been doing the internet marketing game for over 25 years, and I do have a lot of experience, knowledge and skills to share with other people. And so people often come to me because they want some guidance on where to take their social media or what they need to do or where to put their focus in their business. So we're also just starting up a new service for Elite 6, and it's called Focus. And the purpose of Focus is really helping people who think they want to start working for themselves. So we're going to be providing an extensive session scrutinising people's businesses and giving some direction, guidance, and also access to our network, so they can get things done a lot quicker. Because often you're talking to a person that wants to be in business for themselves, and they have no idea where to go, what to do, or whether they should do it is the other thing. Often we find people shouldn't be in business for themselves because their business isn't feasible, if you know what I mean. So we're looking forward to adding that service. It's going to be called Focus into Elite 6. And what we'll do, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Dragon's Den or Sharks. Sharks Den, is it Sharks Den? The Sharks, and basically they are normally multi-millionaires and they sit there in front of somebody who's trying to pitch their business, but we don't want to quite do that. But what I do want to do is basically scrutinise somebody's business over a 2 or 3 hour session, have 6 people that I know would be good fit for this person, and then help them with their journey to see whether take their business to a different level and give them some direction or a pathway to go. Or simply people who think they want to be in business for themselves, who haven't got a feasible business, is to make it feasible so it can work. So that's the new service we're going to be offering with Elite 6, coming out in a day or two. And I think that's about it, really. The theme really for this podcast was probably embracing technology a little bit, finding some ways to break your content up so you can use it on multi-platforms. I have quite a big social media presence. I don't live on social media, but I do use them all within their own environment. I'm not really a big Twitter fan because I think it's more American. We're Kiwis. I do love YouTube. Flickr I really like because I've got quite a few photos. It may not help me in business, but when I'm referring to my travels in Bangladesh or I'm doing a presentation, it's quite nice to be able to give people a sort of a place where they can go and just click on something like Bangladesh and see all my photos all in one place to get a genre of the journey or the travels that I went to. So I'm starting to use that a lot more. So, hey, if you're sitting here and you're thinking, oh, I've got a Facebook page and I've got Instagram, I challenge you to go and find another platform you haven't used before and start dominating it. TikTok's a funny one. To give you a wee idea, when you go into my YouTube channel and say if you had a look at one of the videos I did, I took it probably, I don't know, maybe could it be potentially 200
so
videos when I travelled Bangladesh. And for example, I'll just turn the sound down on this one, but this is a 30-second video of me doing a wee bit of a time lapse of one of the busiest intersections. I stood here for an hour taking photos of all these buses, and it fascinated me. Now, I could have got this video clip and made a movie out of it, but the stats are pretty shocking when you do that. More people will watch a 30-second clip than they will watch a professionally formatted video. So I'm just challenging people to chuck little wee clips like this onto the internet. And when you do it, you'll see that I've got a default cut and paste set up. And in here I give people a place to go to my Facebooks, YouTube, TikToks and Twitters, for example. And then they'll click on like TikTok, for example, and they'll find my TikTok channel, and they'll also find other videos in a different format. So one of my TikTok videos got 250,000 people looking at it. So by using these platforms, even though I don't understand them, or even blindly using them, because I'm trying to figure out how to use them, then all of a sudden you realise how the formula works. So one of my videos was 7 seconds long, and it got 7, I think it got 2.5, I'm trying to find it. I got, as I said, 250,000 people viewed my video. So the reason why is it looped. There it is. 256,000 people have decided to have a look at this video. It was only 7 seconds long, and that was because it looped. And because it looped, it meant that it got looked at more than once. And because it got looked at more than once, that gives it brownie points with TikTok, and then they start distributing it in front of people to look at. Or maybe people in Bangladesh with 20 million people in a city decided they saw it and they shared it somewhere popular. I don't know. But anyway, if that video took off, then some of my other videos also got quite high traffic. So It's just playing around with social media won't hurt you. Don't make it a big ordeal. Get in there, have a go, do something on your phone, throw it on the internet, and see how much traffic you can get. I think I had a couple of other ones that really did get some good traffic. I think I've got one here of 2 monkeys. And they look like, I call them naughty monkeys. And I got 57,000 people looked at that in one go. Now I got 54,000 people looked at that within 12 hours. And then it stopped. So I don't know what happened there. But however, have a play with social media. You can't break anything. Get your website in order. And then make sure that you can, present yourself in a great way. Anyway, so I just want to have a wee bit of a podcast. I haven't done one for a while, and I just really wanted to see if I can use this new software to chop it up. So if you go to my website, dehek.com, and go down till you see my blogs, you'll see this podcast scribed into words using that service that I showed you earlier on. Otter, is it? And that enables you to scribe your voice into words, and that will create a blog all in one go. And as for going forward, my focus at the moment for De Hek is I do a lot of online shopping and shops, not shopping. And I've discovered just recently I've managed to get myself a green screen. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of workshops. The first workshop I'm going to do is actually showing people how to set up a basic Shopify shop, and that's going to be a free workshop to entice people to actually go full in with the workshop that I'm going to put online soon. All right, so thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and we'll look forward to getting some comments from you in due course.